Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the 1973 Australian 50 cents coin, especially one that shows rust, a darker black tone, and is still in fine condition. You might think a coin like this has lost its worth, but the truth might surprise you. Let's start by going back in time. The year 1973 was an interesting period for Australia. The country was going through social and economic changes, and its coinage reflected stability and national identity. The 50 cents coin from that era carried the iconic coat of arms design, symbolizing unity and heritage. Unlike earlier silver versions, by 1973, these coins were already being produced in a copper-nickel composition, making them more durable and practical for everyday use. Now think about the journey of such a coin. It passed through countless hands, markets, pockets, and perhaps even across cities. Over time, exposure to moisture, air, and environmental conditions can lead to discoloration. That's why some of these coins develop a dark, almost black appearance, sometimes mistaken for rust. Technically, copper-nickel doesn't rust like iron, but it can tone and oxidize, giving it that aged, antique look. Interestingly, many collectors actually appreciate this natural toning because it adds character and authenticity to the coin. When we talk about condition, the term fine condition plays an important role. A coin in fine condition means it has visible wear, but the main details like the kangaroo, emu, and shield are still clear. Even with dark toning or surface aging, as long as the design remains visible and not heavily damaged, the coin retains collectible value. In fact, some collectors prefer coins that show age naturally, rather than those that look overly polished or artificially cleaned. Let's explore the physical aspects of this coin. The 1973 Australian 50 cents coin is round in shape and quite large compared to many other coins. It weighs around 15.55 grams and has a solid, satisfying feel when you hold it. The composition of copper and nickel gives it strength and resistance to wear, which is why many of these coins have survived in decent condition even after decades of circulation. Its size and weight also make it stand out in any collection, giving it a strong visual and tactile presence. Now comes one of the most exciting parts: collector demand. While the 1973 50 cents coin is not considered extremely rare, it still holds steady demand among collectors, especially beginners and those building Australian coin sets. Coins with unique appearances, such as dark toning or unusual coloration, can attract attention because no coins look exactly the same. Collectors often enjoy owning coins that have a story written on their surface, and that natural aging becomes part of that story. So what about the current market value? This is where expectations need to stay realistic, but positive. A standard 1973 Australian 50 cents coin in fine condition usually has a modest value, often ranging from around $148,000 to $175,000 Australian dollars. However, if the coin has an interesting dark tone, unusual appearance, or is particularly well preserved despite its age, some collectors might be willing to pay a bit more. It's not just about the metal or the year, it's about the appeal and individuality of the coin. If you are a collector or someone just starting out, there are some important things to keep in mind. Always handle coins carefully, preferably by the edges, to avoid adding fingerprints or damage. Avoid cleaning old coins, especially those with natural toning, because cleaning can actually reduce their value. Store your coins in a dry, safe place, using coin holders or albums to protect them from further environmental exposure. And most importantly, enjoy the process of collecting. Every coin you own has a story, and learning about it adds meaning beyond just money. As we come to the end, remember this: the 1973 Australian 50 cents coin may not make you instantly rich, but it offers something just as valuable. It connects you to history, teaches you about preservation, and invites you into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Even a dark, aged coin in fine condition can hold beauty, character, and a small but meaningful place in the market. Next up, today, we're diving into something really interesting and valuable for coin lovers and collectors. We're going to explore the Australia 50 cents coin from 1996, especially focusing on a rusted old coin that is still in fine condition, and most importantly, what its current market value is in dollars today. So sit back, relax, and let's uncover the hidden story behind this fascinating coin. First, let's talk about the history and condition of this 1996 Australian 50-cent coin. This coin is part of Australia's iconic decimal currency, which was introduced back in 1966. The 50-cent coin quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in the country due to its unique dodecagonal shape, meaning it has 12 sides instead of being perfectly round. The 1996 issue was not a rare commemorative coin, but rather a standard circulation coin, which means millions were minted and used in everyday transactions. Now, when we talk about a coin being rust-old fine condition, it creates an interesting situation. Normally, Australian 50-cent coins are made from a copper-nickel alloy, which does not rust like iron. However, over time, coins can develop surface discoloration, dirt buildup, or environmental damage that might look like rust. Even with these signs of age, if the coin still has clear details, readable text, and visible design features, it can still be classified as being in fine condition. This means the coin has circulated, but is still respectable and collectible. Moving on to the background and composition of the coin, this is where things get even more interesting. The Australian 50-cent coin is composed of making it one of the heaviest circulating coins in Australia. On the obverse side, you will find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which was designed by Raphael McLouf for coins of that era. On the reverse side, the coin features the Australian coat of arms, which includes a kangaroo and an emu supporting a shield. This design is not only beautiful, but also represents the national identity of Australia. Now let's talk about collector demand, which plays a major role in determining the value of any coin. The 1996 Australian 50-cent coin is not considered rare in general, but demand can increase depending on condition, unusual errors, or unique toning. A rust-like appearance, while usually seen as damage, can sometimes attract collectors if it gives the coin a distinct and unusual look. Some collectors enjoy coins with character and history, especially if they tell a story of circulation and age. However, it's important to understand that most collectors prefer coins in higher grades, such as uncirculated or extremely fine condition. Still, a fine condition coin can find buyers, especially among beginner collectors or those looking to complete a date set. Now comes the most exciting part. What is the current market value of this coin today? A standard 1996 Australian 50-cent coin in fine condition typically holds a value close to its which is $150,000 Australian dollars. However, depending on its appearance, slight uniqueness, and buyer interest, it may sell for around $175,000 to $250,000 Australian dollars in the collector market. If the coin has an unusual tone or appealing aged look, it might fetch slightly more, especially in online marketplaces. It's important to stay positive here, because even if the value seems modest, every coin has potential. Markets change, collector interests evolve, and what seems common today could become more desirable in the future. Now let me share some helpful tips for collectors. Always store your coins in a dry and safe environment to prevent further damage. Avoid cleaning coins harshly, because cleaning can reduce their value significantly. Instead, keep them as they are and preserve their natural condition. If you believe your coin has something unique about it, consider showing it to experienced collectors or getting it evaluated by a professional. Also, keep learning and exploring. Coin collecting is not just about money, it's about history, art, and discovery. Even a simple coin like the 1996 Australian 50-cent piece can teach you so much about a country's culture and economy. Finally, let's wrap things up. The 1996 Australia 50 cents coin, even in rust-like old fine condition, is a wonderful piece of everyday history. While its market value may not be very high today, its true worth lies in its story, its design, and its place in the world of numismatics. Every coin you collect adds to your journey and experience as a collector. Next up, today we are going to explore a very interesting and collectible coin from Australia. The 50 cents coin from the year 2001, associated with New South Wales. If you are a coin collector or someone curious about coin values, this video will give you a complete understanding of its history, condition, demand, and current market value. Let's begin by talking about the history of this coin. The 2001 Australian 50-cent coin holds special importance because it was released during a time when Australia was celebrating its rich heritage and states. Coins from this period often attract attention because they represent not just currency, but also culture and identity. New South Wales is one of the oldest and most historically significant states in Australia, and coins connected with it carry a sense of pride and historical depth. This makes the 2001 issue particularly meaningful for collectors who appreciate both history and design. Now, when we talk about the condition of a coin, it plays a huge role in determining its value. A 2001 Australian 50-cent coin in fine condition means that the coin has been circulated but still retains clear details. The design is visible, the text is readable, and although there may be some wear, it still looks appealing. Collectors often value coins in fine condition because they strike a balance between affordability and historical character. A well-preserved coin tells a story, and even slight wear can add to its authenticity rather than reduce its charm. Moving on to the background and composition, the Australian 50-cent coin is quite unique in its shape. Unlike many round coins, this one has a distinctive dodecagonal shape, meaning it has 12 sides. This makes it instantly recognizable and adds to its appeal. The coin is made from cupronickel, which is a blend of copper and nickel. This composition gives the coin its durability and a silvery appearance that resists corrosion over time. Because of this strong material, many coins from 2001 still survive today in decent condition, which is great news for collectors. Now let's talk about collector demand. Coins like the 2001 Australian 50-cent piece are popular among both beginner and experienced collectors. For beginners, it is an affordable entry point into Australian coin collecting. For experienced collectors, it becomes part of a larger set or collection representing different years and states. The connection to New South Wales also adds a regional interest factor, making it more desirable for those who focus on Australian state-themed coins. The demand is steady and positive, especially for coins that are in fine or better condition. Coming to the most exciting part, the current market value. As of today, a 2001 Australian 50-cent coin in fine condition generally has a value slightly above its. In most cases, it ranges from about $175,000 to $288,000 Australian dollars, depending on its exact condition and market demand. If the coin is in better condition, such as very fine or uncirculated, the value can go higher. However, even in fine condition, it remains a nice collectible piece that holds both monetary and historical value. For those of you who are collectors or planning to start collecting, here are some useful tips. Always store your coins in a clean, dry environment to prevent damage. Avoid touching the surface too much, as oils from your fingers can affect the coin over time. It's also a good idea to learn about grading so you can better understand the condition of your coins. Keeping your coins organized and documented will make your collection more valuable and enjoyable. Most importantly, collect coins that you personally find interesting, because passion is the true value behind any collection. As we come to the conclusion, the 2001 Australian 50-cent coin connected with New South Wales is a simple yet meaningful piece of currency. It may not be extremely rare, but it carries history, design uniqueness, and steady collector interest. Its value today may be modest, but its importance in a collection is undeniable. Every coin tells a story, and this one is no exception. Next up, today we're diving into a fascinating and colorful piece of Australian coinage, the 2004 Australian 50-cent coin featuring the beautiful fauna trio of the Lorikeet, Koala, and Wombat. If you're a coin collector or simply someone curious about the value of coins, you're going to love this deep exploration. Let's start with the history of this coin. The Australian 50-cent coin has always been one of the most iconic pieces in Australia's decimal currency system, first introduced in 1966. However, the 2004 Australian 50 coin stands out because it celebrates Australia's unique wildlife in a vibrant and artistic way. This special design highlights three beloved animals: the colorful lorikeet, the adorable koala, and the sturdy wombat. These animals are not just symbols of nature, but also represent the country's identity and biodiversity, which makes the coin more meaningful than ordinary circulation pieces. Now, when we talk about condition, this is where things get exciting for collectors. A 2004 Australian 50-cent coin in very fine condition means it has been in circulation, but still retains a lot of its original detail. The design elements, like the feathers of the lorikeet or the fur texture of the koala, remain visible and sharp, although there may be some light wear. Coins in this condition are attractive because they strike a balance between affordability and collectability. They are not heavily worn, and they still showcase the beauty of the original design. Moving on to the background and composition of the coin, the Australian 50-cent coin is quite unique in its physical characteristics. It is made from cupronickel, a strong and durable alloy composed mainly of copper and nickel. This gives the coin its silvery appearance and helps it withstand years of circulation. Another interesting feature is its distinctive dodecagonal shape, meaning it has 12 sides. This design is not just visually appealing, but also practical, making the coin easy to recognize and handle. The Fauna series adds an artistic touch, turning a simple coin into a miniature piece of art. Now let's talk about collector demand, which plays a huge role in determining the value of any coin. The 2004 Australian 50-cent coin is quite popular among collectors, especially those who focus on themed collections such as wildlife, Australian coins, or commemorative issues. The appeal of native animals attracts both local and international collectors. While it is not considered extremely rare, its demand remains steady because of its design and the emotional connection people have with Australian wildlife. Coins in better condition naturally attract higher interest, and collectors are always looking for well-preserved examples to add to their collections. Coming to the most important part, the current market value. As of today, a 2004 Australian 50-cent fauna coin in very fine condition typically holds a modest but respectable value. In most cases, it can range from around $1.40,000 to $1,075,000, depending on the exact condition, shine, and buyer demand. If the coin is closer to extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the value can go even higher. While it may not make you instantly rich, it is definitely a valuable collectible that can appreciate over time, especially as more collectors enter the market. For those of you who are collectors or thinking about starting your coin collection, this coin offers some great lessons. Always pay attention to the condition of the coin, because even small details can make a big difference in value. It's also important to store your coins properly, away from moisture and direct handling, to preserve their quality. Another tip is to stay updated with market trends, because coin values can change depending on demand and availability. And most importantly, collect coins that you personally enjoy, because passion is what makes this hobby truly rewarding. As we come to the conclusion, the 2004 Australian 50-cent fauna coin featuring the lorikeet, koala, and wombat is a wonderful example of how currency can combine art, culture, and value. It tells a story of Australia's natural beauty while also serving as a collectible item with steady market demand. Even in very fine condition, it holds a meaningful place in any collection and offers both enjoyment and potential value growth. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins and their values, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.